Mickey, we're stood here after the final game of the Vitality Blast group stage, and unfortunately it was probably a game that summed up the Vitality Blast this season. Good moments in patches, but unfortunately a disappointing performance all round.
Yeah, spot on, Steve. We haven't been consistent enough. There has been some good patches, but certainly not nowhere near consistent enough, and that's been really disappointing. Leading into tonight's game, we had 3 batsmen in the top 15 of the run scorers, 2 of which were in the top 5. So it certainly hasn't been the batting that's let us down. I don't think we've bowled well enough through this competition, and that's been amplified in most games for us, and that's an area we really need to look at.
Yeah, just on the bowling to start with then, why has it been so poor? And I suppose once the competition starts, it's very hard to put that right because you don't get much time in training sessions to work on anything.
I'm not going to use that excuse because we've got a good enough squad. I back those bowlers that we have to close games out, and particularly our death bowling hasn't been nowhere near good enough. And that's a real worry for me. A lot of other factors did worry me, and it's sort of amplified what we need to do, what we need to do with the team. The brand of cricket I like to play is certainly a brand of cricket that's very athletic. We run hard between wickets. We're young, dynamic, and certainly with the team we had, we couldn't do that. But that was the choice we made for these 2 years, and I think for us now, it's just about us now taking stock of it. It hasn't worked. And we go back to the drawing boards with it.
And we've spoken about this across formats in the last 2 years. It's putting together the perfect game and how difficult it's been, how it's very rarely, if ever, happened. Why has that been such an issue, and also what can be done to really improve on that?
Well, cricket's a game of confidence, and we our first 4 games we didn't get a win, so players started doubting their abilities. Once you start doubting your abilities, it takes a spark to kind of get that all together again. And Aaron Donald's been that spark. And he's got us on track. We still haven't played the perfect game. Headingley on Sunday was closest to the perfect game that we had. I stand here incredibly disappointed. In the winter last year, we worked really hard on our red ball skills because that was an area that we really needed to work at. And we sit second in the championship. So I don't want what happened tonight to cloud us going into red ball cricket. That's really important for me. It needs to be closure now with our white ball side. We went a route with our white ball side, and ultimately it hasn't worked. So I want to get us back next year into the brand that I really want us to play. And even if we've got to take a year or 2 with some young players in order to make them into what we want and make the team into what we want, so be it. As I say, everything's on the drawing table at the moment.
And just on that perfect game point, I suppose it's not necessarily about trying to be perfect 14 games out of 14, but it's probably about when we're not perfect, the 5-10 over spells in games where we're off it. It's not to the point where it's losing you the games. It's the point where you're still competitive.
Perfect. I couldn't have said that as well as you, Steve. You're 100% right. When we lost a contest, or we lost an over, we lost it really badly. When we lost a power play, we lost it badly. And those are areas that I've taken copious amounts of notes. I know exactly the areas that need shelving up, and that's certainly one of them. I honestly thought that through the winter that this white ball team was experienced enough to take care of what we needed it to do, but it hasn't been, and we haven't been good enough in this comp, full stop. I'm not blind to that. I'm not blind to the areas that we really need to shelve up, and we'll do it, and we'll go again.
You mentioned the decision you made over these last 2 seasons to go with maybe more experience, more proven winners within the team. Of course, it was been announced today that Sami Patel's time with the club has come to an end. How would you sum up Samit's time and this project as a whole that you've embarked on?
Yeah, first of all, let me touch on Summit. I've loved the 2 years with Summit. He's an infectious character. He brings a confidence into a dressing room. He brings a desire to win. And he left. He leaves that will be his legacy in that dressing room. Is always up for the occasion. No challenge too big for him. So I've loved every minute of working with Summit. And as you say, unfortunately, all good things come to an end. And now it's up to us now to move and go in the direction I really want this white ball team to go now.
Yeah, and just on that project, then the idea of bringing experience 2 years ago maybe hasn't worked so much. Is the emphasis now bringing in younger players and maybe going a little bit more energy and developing players as you maybe want them to?
Yeah, everything's on the table, Steve, and I live and breathe it 24/7. I'll be looking at it. As I say, everything's on the table. We're going to have to look. I mean, we've got some irons in the fire in terms of players coming in that I think will enhance what the team that we want, enhance the brand of cricket I want to play. Has it worked? I guess last year we were one win away from a quarter-final. That teased us a little bit, and teased us into going again. And this time it clearly hasn't worked. So it's very, very easy, and we've got to change tacking and go in a direction that I think will work for us.
Yeah, and it's important to remember, just because the T20 campaign is over, the season is not. Next week we have a top two clash against Leicestershire, which will be crucial to the red ball hopes for this season, and then also the start of the Metrobank One Day Cup as well, which you must see as a huge opportunity. So there's plenty to play for this season.
Well, you'll see a lot in the Metrobank One Day Cup of the direction we want to take our white ball team. So it's really important that we get game time into some of those younger players. You always say if you don't give them a year now, you waste 2 years, because you waste the year that you could have given them, and then it takes them another year to bed down. So we'll use that Metrobank to certainly go in that direction. It's really important we get closure now from this competition and take nothing into Tuesday, because I haven't been as excited as I am now for us to go in and go into a white ball game, a red ball game, and get cracking again with that championship, because that championship now is really, really important to us. But important we close this off and we move now into red ball.
And I know it's probably difficult to talk after this game, but in terms of players who could come back for the Leicestershire game, you mentioned a couple of weeks ago that Lewis Rees, David Lloyd could be back for the Leicestershire game. Do we have any updates on those and anyone else who could come in?
Yeah, David Lloyd trained the whole of last week. Won't be an issue. He'll be ready for Leicester. Lewis Rees has bowled and batted the last week as well. He's going to bowl and bat in club cricket again tomorrow. I'm sure he'll pull up fine. He pulls up fine on Monday. He's available for selection. We rested Martin Anderson from the game tonight. He had aggravated a back at Headingley. We didn't want that to impede on a possible start for him on Tuesday. So touch wood, we should have a full squad to choose from come Tuesday, which is great. It gives us selection headaches again, and that's beautiful to have.